Good morning, Ethan Baba. چطوری پسرم? So I want to talk about linear functions and how to quickly graph them, Baba. So first of all, let's talk about linear functions. You've already kind of been looking at functions like y equal f of x. So like y equal 2x plus 5, this is an example. 6x plus 5, here's another example. 2x plus 3y equals 2. That's also a line, that's also a function. But because, so here it is. So here y is equal into like something. That's called an explicit function. Or here y equals 6x plus 5. That's an explicit function. It's also linear. These are linear because none of these have weird exponents. For example, some nonlinear functions would be like y equal x squared, which is a parabola. It looks like this. Or y equal root x, which is like kind of looks like that. But all the linear functions are just straight lines. They're just straight lines that goes through there. So if a function has any kind of a weird exponents like x squared or x cubed or root x, it makes it non-linear because it's gonna become a curve, Baba. It's gonna be curvy. But then if it's linear, then the exponents are just single exponents, just x and y. So I have like a linear functions definition, which is the implicit form. Implicit means like you kind of combine them like this. Explicit means y equals that. So that's the definition, which is ax plus by equals c. So like 2x plus 5y equal 3. You can rewrite this as implicit if you wish. So for example, here you could actually solve for y and write it as an implicit function. So it would be 5y is equal minus 2x plus 3 if I take the 2x to the other side. And then we just divide by 5. So y is equal, everything will be divided by 5. Negative 2 over 5x plus 3 over 5. So these two are the exact same functions. This one is the implicit one. This one is explicit. And they're both linear because their exponents of x and y are just single. Like there's the exponents of 1 here. But here you have an exponent of 2. Or this is the exponent of half or square root. Or this is the exponent of 3. So that makes it non-linear. So right now, we're just going to focus on linear, Baba. We're not going to deal with any of these right now. So let's say you're given this function y equal x plus 1 and you have to graph it. So if you notice, for a single line, you only need 2 points to be given. Excuse me, one second. You only need 2 points to be given. If you have 2 points, you can actually draw the line. So for any line, you just need 2 points. That's it. So if a function is given to you to be y equal x plus 1, you just need 2 points. So typically what I do is I put a chart and I pick a couple of nice x's. That's your choice. You can pick 2, you can pick 5, you can pick a million. But pick things that are easy to graph because your graphing paper, you got like a limited numbers here. So I here pick x equals 0 and x equal negative 1. So let's see what happens. If x is equal 0, I put it here, it would be 0 plus 1. So that's your 1. So your y is 1. So 0, 1 is one of your points. So I wrote it here. And then I pick another x like negative 1. So if you put negative 1 here, negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So negative 1 plus 1, it's 0. So your y is 0. So the other point you have is negative 1, 0. So then I go here and I select these points. So one of them was 0, 1. So this is x equals 0, y equal 1, so that's your 0, 1. And then the other point is negative 1, 0. So that's your negative 1 and 0. So then here you go. You have 2 points, 0, 1, negative 1, 0. You connect the line, and that's your graph. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is I saw another question. It talked about x and y intercept. This is the easiest concept in linear functions. Okay, what is an x-intercept? X-intercept is when your function crosses the x-axis. Here's your x-axis, here's your function, this is where it crosses. What is a y-intercept? Here's your y-axis, here's your function, this is where it crosses. So, and it's really easy to find them, because to find x-intercept, look, what's the characteristic of an x-intercept? X-intercept happens when your y value is 0. This is your y function, right? Where is it y 0? Right this line. This is your y equals 0 line. So at y equals 0, your function will be given, you will find the x-intercept. If you set your x equals 0 now, this is your x equals 0, you will find this point. So the characteristic of an x-intercept is that its y is 0. The characteristic of a y-intercept is when x equals 0. So how to find x and y-intercept? Here's an example. I've given you a function y equal to x plus 1. In order to find the x-intercept, you set y equals 0. So I put 0 for y, and I write 0 is equal to x plus 1. So I set y equals 0. Then you solve for x. So then you bring your 1 to the other side. So 2x is equal to negative 1. And then you divide by 2. So x is equal to negative half. That is your x-intercept because you found it by setting y equals 0. Therefore, your point is negative half and 0 because that's your x portion and then your y portion is 0. So that's your point. That's your negative half and 0. And I drew it here. Negative half and 0. That point is negative half and 0. That's that point. And then for y-intercept, now you got to set x equals 0. That's a rule. That's always how you do it. That means you're going to put in this function y equal to 2x plus 1. Your x is 0. So I put 0 here. So y equal 2 times 0 plus 1. So then you solve for y. So then you just y is equal 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1. So your y is equal to 1. That is your y-intercept. Then your point then is x equals 0, y equal 1. Because you set your x equals 0 and then your y is equal 1. So here's your point again. That's your 0 and 1. That's your x equals 0 and then your y equal 1. So you found 2 points. You connect them and you're done. That's your line. So you found the x and y intercept, you graphed it. So you could graph by picking your own points, or you could graph by picking x and y intercept. If the question is asking you to find an x and y intercept, for x-intercept you set y equals 0, you solve for x. For y-intercept you set x equal, you solve for y. Boom, done. If it didn't ask you, you can pick your own easy points. In fact, the y and x intercept is easy to do anyway. So anyway, well, I hope this helps, and let me know if there's any other questions.